It's gonna sound like a weird way to start off the video, but if I could just punch out, live in the wilderness, I just wake up to a view like that, lady, get out of the way. Just open fields for the rest of my life. That is the ultimate goal. I would love to achieve the type of success that would allow for me to live a life like that, but you can always just manifest that type of living by being self-reliant on yourself, okay? It's something that we talk about a lot on the channel. It's mostly because that's how I like to live my life, an extreme self-reliance, okay? If there's something that I can do, I will do it to my fullest ability, and nothing's going to get in my way. I do not ask for any help, okay? If I need it, that's great. If somebody's going to offer it and it won't interfere with the way that I want to go about the project or what I need to do, then yeah, okay, help is great, but I don't look for it. I don't seek it. I just try to do the best work I can at all times. And self-reliance is the best way to live a fulfilled life, okay? Because then you don't need anybody else's influence, you don't need anybody else's approval in order for you to feel complete about yourself. So that's what I like to explain and share with you guys. Hopefully you get something good out of this. Self-reliance and our sacred inner genius. Cultivating independent thinking and integrity is especially relevant today. The need to protect the integrity of our own minds is an idea with a long history. It is examined by American transcendentalists thinking, such as Henry David Thoreau and Ralph Waldo Emerson, okay, who both had denounced the conformity of their age. An essayist, lecturer, poet, and philosopher, Emerson remains one of the most influential writers in the American canon. His seminal essay, Self-Reliance, published in 1841, is both timeless and timely reading. I do need to get around to reading that. As Emerson noted of American society, the virtue is in most request is conformity. In response, he promoted self-reliance as an antidote to mindless obedience. Now you know why it's so relevant today. This idea is irrelevant today. Hey, there you go. I guess we're both being self-reliant on our own. When so many are content to go along with popular narratives, I wonder what they're talking about. Often disregarding objective evidence. Again, I wonder what you're talking about. And common sense. Okay, but those willing to adopt a philosophy of self-reliance will find that complicated world present a valuable opportunity to cultivate their character in the face of external pressure. The pitfalls of conformity. Oh, they are vast. They are many. Let's see how many we get through in a few paragraphs. In our connected digital world, there are powerful influences conspiring against our mental and moral independences. Loyalty to a particular worldview often takes place of individuality. So too, as Emerson's time was conformity deemed superior to the individual. Ugh, commie nonsense. A functioning society calls to a degree of cooperation. Yeah, so much as it doesn't force you to do anything, but I get where you're coming from. But there is a point where conformity can take on the characteristics of oppression. True. The citizens of the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany made compromises for their self-preservation, thinking that it'd be better to go with the tide than swim against it. Yep, if you'd like a little bit of a reading on the subject, for the Soviet Union specifically, Alexander Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago, and Christopher Browning's Ordinary Men, if you'd like to read more about the German Holocaust, okay, and how ordinary men can get pushed to do extraordinarily horrifying things. This would sound wrong to say, but I'll say it anyways. I would wholeheartedly recommend that horrific retelling of events because it is very enlightening. Conformity can only become tyranny when too few people adopt an attitude of self-reliance. Those who are willing to engage in self-reflection and speak their minds have tremendous power to set things right. That's what I try to do. Not too many people notice, but I don't really care because it's getting my thoughts out there and I think that they're worth something. In addition to fulfilling a duty to society, the self-reliant individual embarks on a path of self-actualization inaccessible to the common man. As Emerson puts it, whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist. He would gather immortal palms, must not be hindered by the name of goodness, but must explore if it is be goodness. Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind. Based how bombarded as we are by biased facts and opinions, viewing the world through an independent lens is no easy feat. The advantage of self-reliance. Again, I hope there are several paragraphs. There are, but yeah, okay, let's see how concise this gets, because they are many. When we choose to express ourselves freely and honestly, trials and tribulations will inevitably arise. As Emerson states, for nonconformity, the world whips you with its displeasure. As such, independent thinkers must necessarily endure the contempt of the fellow man. At times, we are tempted to throw in the towel and concede defeat, but Emerson implores us to abide by our spontaneous impressions with good humor and flexibility. Then most when the whole cry of voices is on the other side. To trust oneself in spite of mounting pressure from those who forego critical thought takes grit and independence, hard won by weathering the jeers of the crowd. When we stand our ground in the face of adversity, we cultivate an inner integrity that will aid us when times get dark. This doesn't mean that we must take to the streets and impose our views on the world. Of course not. Only heathens pray in public. Rather, we should consult with our conscience and express our heartfelt impressions without fear, anger, judgment. Okay, Stoic values, I love it. And allow others to do the same. Exactly. We shouldn't expect others to conform to us, but rather seek to rouse the hidden genius in our fellow man. Yeah, don't need to impose anything on anybody else. Lead by example, not by force. When the whole of society is gripped by an unhealthy conformity, it's the duty of those who would help the world regain its composure to speak their convictions and engage fully in the battle of ideas. If we steadfastly hold to our better instincts, we can become Emerson's guides, redeemers, and benefactors, obeying the Almighty's effort and advancing on chaos and the dark. That's not racist. Great men have always chosen their own paths and dared to go against the orthodoxy of their day. The hero's journey calls for such sacrifice. Absolutely. The greatest men to do so with humility and absolute trust in the transcendent. As Emerson so eloquently stated, we but half express ourselves and are ashamed of the divine idea which each of us represents. It may be safely trusted as proportionate and of good issues, so and to be faithfully imparted, but God will not have his work made manifest by cowards. Exactly. Be the change you want to see. Do not compromise your non-negotiable traits and opinions. Everything else, though, even if you think you have the best ideas in the entire world, you can't really force them on anybody else. They got to come to that conclusion by themselves. But hey, a little bit of motivation goes a long way, and it's impressive to know, okay? And it's also startling to know how little encouragement people need in order to make big, important, long-lasting changes in their own life. Take that information however you want, use it however you will. Just know you're the most powerful resource that you have at your disposal. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.